Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Rev, and this is RevHiker Outdoors. As you can tell from this bristly beard full with ice, it's a snowy day here in central New York.
And
that's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay, well, that's good enough. Today, guys, we're going to be working on some cool stuff. We've been doing this Bushcraft for Beginners series, and we're going to take that one step further today. We're going to talk about shelter. And from this spot right here, we are going to build a Bushcraft camp. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to build a shelter. We're eventually going to make the shelter bigger. We're going to do fire pits, indoor fire.
Possibly a fireplace and chimney.
Some raised beds.
Yeah, as you can see right now, we are shelterless. Hopefully by the end of this series, we will be shelter full. Yeah,
we're gonna try to get like the foundations laid today. But shelter building is one of like the basic blocks of bushcraft. It's one of the first skills that you should start practicing, aside from how to properly use a knife without slicing your fingers off.
That's right, so stay tuned. Bushcraft 101 begins now.
Okay guys, so first off, just a few things. When you choose a shelter site, it should be, in my opinion, with its back to the prevailing wind. You don't want wind blowing in your shelter and blowing smoke in there. And you want to have your fire pit far enough away so that the kind of current of air isn't blowing smoke back in your shelter either. We're going to get to all that, but there's three types of shelters, and we're choosing an all-natural shelter here. It's going to be all logs, all stuff that we find. We're not going to be using tarps. So basically, you can have an all-natural shelter. You can have a natural frame with a tarp over top of it or some sort of other covering, or you can have just a tarp set up with ropes. And we want a more permanent thing, so we're going to build an all-natural structure. Our back is going to be here. We got a river down below, and you might hear some road noise because roughly a quarter mile that way across the river on the other side is a road that kind of connects the North Country and the Utica area, so here in central New York, so you might pick some of that up. But anyway, this is a great spot. We're pretty secluded on every side, and we're going to build our shelter here, and we're going to do a lean-to style because, at least for starters, that's going to be one of the easiest to build, and it's a pretty common one. So basically, it's a pitched roof, and we're going to try to build some walls. It's real simple. We want to make this one roughly big enough for 2 people. So it takes a little extra work, but we're just going to get to it. I got a time-lapse camera running, so you guys will be able to see some of that stuff. And we're just going to kind of talk as we build stuff. So stick around. I think we're going to have a lot of fun here.
So as you can see here, what Drew and I did is we basically heel kicked and plowed out with our feet a nice line through the snow. And that is because we're going to bring over some log, stack it right here, and then have the back of our lean-to come down to here. So we'll set 2 A-frames up with a ridge pole, and then we'll have logs coming down on a slant to this back area here, just so we get a little more ceiling height. It's a little more off the ground. on A-frame. And use this one.
That one felt pretty soft though. And one thing I wanted to caution you about is you should usually use eye protection. When I'm at home and I wear my safety goggles, my daughters make fun of me, but I've had stuff in my eye before. In case in point, this is my Council Tools axe, and there's a Hudson Bay, so this is supposed to come all the way down, and somehow or another, it snapped off. Now, it didn't come back and hit me, but it definitely could have, and I did have wood chips hit me in the face, so it's always good, no matter how much you trust your tools and stuff, to have something covering your eyes.
Oh, that's weak arm. That's a good natural notch. So Drew, what do you call these knots here you're putting in?
Well, Will, if you weren't getting wood, you would have seen when I put together the other A-frames. And this this is a Canadian gem knot.
Oh!
Oh!
Why do they call it the Canadian gem knot?
Because it jams itself shut. It kind of locks itself in place. It'll stay tight. Now, what I need you to do is I'm going to lean this thing back.
Yep.
Pick up the ridge pole and slap it in there. Ranch on it. Give it some sauce. There you go. See?
That's the secret sauce.
Stays nice and tight.
That's the old Canadian jam knot. I taught this guy everything he knows.
Imagine that, we finished at exactly the same time on camera.
Odd how
weird.
that works.
So, anyway guys, you can see we have a massive shelter, and the reason it's big is because we're not small.
No.
And eventually, like I said, we want to make this almost like a bushcraft cabin. It's going to be sweet by the time we're all set. But we got our A-frames up front and back. We've got our cross beams, and we just started putting some of the beams that are going to come down. We're letting them overhang a couple feet just because we want to be able to put that roof out a little farther if we should choose. This thing's going to be good and strong. I would trust it with Will's life because he would have got hit if that came down. But this thing is good and strong. This is going to be episode 1 of the shelter. It's going to take a few episodes to build this.
We bit off a little more than we could chew in our allotted time. You know, this isn't our full-time job. We have other things going on, so we're just trying to sneak this in during the day, which is kind of cool to me because that means you, if you want, you can grab a few hours of your day, go out back, try these things out, and just give it a go and have some fun.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we appreciate you watching. Remember to go check out Will's website, theadventurousgentleman.com, and
subscribe to the podcast on iTunes.
Yes.
Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. Please do the same with the Rev as well. And until next time, this has been your Bushcraft edition of Cribs. We're out.